Okay, like in the previous video, by mistake I pressed the end button, so that the video is end in between, so that is also an interrupt. And let's start from the where we stop. And okay, so we have to use that waiting period of the processor by using some useful tasks. Indeed, by using the interrupts, indeed by using interrupts, such waiting periods can ideally be eliminated. Okay, so the routine executed in response to an interrupt request is called interrupt service routine. Routine means a set of instructions. Okay, when the interrupt request is accepted by the processor, some set of instructions to being executed. Let I am pressing these keys. There are also some instructions written behind the screen that when the user enters or press the shift key more than 3 times, then we have to display this message. So there is also a program. This program you can take as an example of interrupt service routine. Okay, which we will see in the example we take is at the display routine. Okay, so interrupt bear considerable resemblance to subroutine calls. Like subroutine we will study in the operating system. Okay, subroutine means I'll give a brief idea. For example, when we are writing a complete program, we are using different functions. Okay, and when we are using different functions in a simple program, each function plate we can call it as a subroutine. Okay, but interrupts and or interrupt service routine and subroutine is not same. Interrupts subroutine must be called, but interrupts is automatically called. Okay, and assume that an interrupt request arrives during execution of instruction. Okay, let's take this example and at a time. Okay, in the example, there are program which is running. Let's compute routine and another one is display routine, and interrupt occurs when the compute routine program is run and it's in the ith number of instruction. That type interrupt enters, or it will wait for some infinite loop is running the processor, so that point of time processor is idle, and so we can run at that point of time the display routine or display program. There is another program 2. So how it will execute, I am giving here 2 types of explanation. Which one you will follow, it will be best. Okay, and let's go for this. Okay, that step 1, what we will do, when the interrupt occurs, the processor is currently executing ith instruction. Okay, this ith instruction processor is executing, and the program counter will be currently pointing to i+1th location. As we know that program count, every time when a new instruction enters, the program counter stores the next instruction value, or it automatically increments. So when we are executing or the processor is executing ith number of instructions, then the program counter automatically increments to i+1. So then in the second step, when the interrupt occurs, the program counter value is stored on the process stack, but the processor is not going to execute on the i+1 instruction. After the completion of ith instruction, it will execute, but during the completion of ith execution, there is an interrupt occurs. So the program counter must not store the value of i+1. If it will store i+1 instructions, or it will execute i+1 instruction, then the interrupt will not be executed. So we have to but we have to store this instruction value or this instructions address into the program counter. But what we will do with this instruction, where it will store? It will store on the process stack. We will store this I plus 1 on the process stack, and the program counter is now loaded with the address of, and now the program counter is now loaded with the address of interrupt service routine. Okay, and because previously the program counter is loaded with I plus 1, but now it is loaded with this, let this is j, with the jth instruction. Okay, and this I plus 1 instruction is temporarily stored in the process stack. Okay, once the interrupt service routine is completed, the address of the process stack is popped and placed back in the program counter. This display routine is an interrupt service routine, and after the completion, after the execution of this display routine, we have to load the I plus 1 instruction into the program counter, and we know in the step 2 that this I plus 1 is loaded in the process stack. So after the completion of this program, from the process stack we will fetch, or you can call it as it is a stack. Let's use the words as pop and push. Okay, the stack is popped I plus 1, and again it stored in the program counter. Now execution resumes from ith location of compute routine. Okay, as our original program is program 1, it is an interrupt. So after the completion of the interrupt, we have to come back to our original program. So after pop the I plus 1 instruction, and after loading it into the program counter, then the execution will be started from this I plus 1 line, and this program will be continuing its execution. Okay, and the delay between the time an interrupt request is received and the start of execution of interrupt service routine, this delay is called interrupt delay. That means or interrupt latency. Okay, latency means delay. When we put some interrupt, like I am inserting the USB, but after some fraction of second it will display a message. Okay, this fraction of second is called as interrupt latency. We are requesting something, it's receiving, but execution, receiving and execution, there is a gap, there is a time gap. So that time gap is called as interrupt latency. And the advantages of interrupt is it increases the efficiency of CPU, as we know that to increase the efficiency of CPU, we have to use the CPU more efficiently. That means you don't have to put the CPU idle. Okay, every time you have to provide some work to the CPU, so that CPU will be busy, and by doing this we can increase the efficiency of CPU. It decreases the waiting time of CPU. Okay, and here we have seen in the previously that during the waiting time, processor is running processor is executing the interrupt and stops the wastage of instruction cycle. Instruction cycle means in this instruction cycle is instruction cycles are wastage low. CPU and disadvantages is CPU has to do a lot of work to handle interrupts. Okay, like it's a simple program. If once the processor is executed this, then it will executed this. It looks simple, but first it has to load this I plus 1 into the stack, then again it has to pop that from the stack and loaded into program counts. It looks complex, and actually it is complex, but we have to work more efficiently, so we have to do that. Okay, and In the next class, we will study about hardware interrupts. Till then, thank you.